Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Well, it's Tuesday. You know what that means. Tuesday Talks, that's right. So it's been a couple weeks since we've had the opportunity to connect, and that's my fault. Life gets a little hectic, things get crazy, but again, no excuse. We should be connecting on a weekly basis if at all possible. But I thought, you know, it's Tuesday. Let's have a conversation. Let's have a Tuesday talk. Let's connect. Let's talk about some camping topics. Let's have a cigar. Let's have a step two. You know what? Let's stop talking. Let's get right into it. Play that music. Well guys, like every beginning of Tuesday Talks, we gotta start the Tuesday Talks with a cigar. So let's see what we got in the old humidor here. Ah, this one's a good one. Let's see here. This one's called a Scorpion. This one's from the line Camacho. So if you're into cigars, you've heard of Camacho. Again, this is one of their line cigars. So let me try to get a better view for you. Take it out of the wrapper here. Put that in there so it doesn't blow away. It's very warm out here today. It's like 85 degrees. It's very warm. So again, a Scorpion. Not the coolest band. Some of these cigars, when you get them, they're very cool bands. Like they're a piece of art by themselves. So a Scorpion. We're gonna go ahead and use our V-cut. Last Thursday, I met up with one of the subscribers, hey Pat, and we had a cigar, and I had a cigar called the Flathead 770. If I still have a picture, I'll throw it in here just to show you guys. It is a massive cigar. It's long and it's got a very, very big gauge. So we were watching, unfortunately, the Dolphins-Bills game, and yeah, I say unfortunately because the Dolphins. I mean, come on, seriously. Tua gets hurt, but we're not gonna talk about sports in this channel. But it lasted a good 2.5 hours for that time, so that one cigar. So it was a nice cigar. So we cut in a V-cut. And they have different versions of the cigar. They have a higher quality, and this one's almost like a second, where it's, you know, a lot of it has some filler in it. But again, not a bad cigar. It's medium to bold, medium to mild bold. I guess medium bold, I guess is the best way to describe this. Not too mild. It's got a little bit of a pepper taste when you smoke it. Let's go ahead and use our torch lighter. A little bit of that flakes get in your mouth, so you can tell not full leaf filler. Definitely warm out. I'm glad I have the umbrella over the table here to block that sun. So yeah, not a very, very strong cigar, not like on the spectrum of a Maduro, but still a medium to bold cigar. So we'll call it more medium. Now the topic today. So last time we connected, I believe we talked about hot tent camping and how it's on my bucket list, and I've been looking at different tents. And in fact, I think on the last video, I've showed you a couple examples of tents. Well, I narrowed it down to one tent. So I'm in the purchase, still in the process of reviewing that tent, looking at all the reviews, looking at multiple sites. The thing with camping equipment, you really have to read the reviews from people, because when they're out there in the field and they're out there camping, they're the ones utilizing this equipment. So they're the ones that are getting the best reviews. Don't believe the reviews on the site for the product itself. But so today I wanted to talk about the other side of that spectrum that we need to purchase. That's the camping stove. Now, there are so many variations of these camping stoves. There's cast iron stoves that are solid cast iron. They're hard to carry because of course they're heavy. You also have the camping stoves that are made out of like pressed sheet metal, and they're solid, they don't collapse. And then finally, the other version that I've saw that really appeals, I guess, would be the collapsible burners. I had a blank there. Stoves, not burners, stoves. So I'm gonna post a couple of the pictures here or videos quickly, just so you could see the two that I've narrowed it down to. One's a solid light metal stove that's got some decent reviews, and there's another one that's a collapsible. You know, it's easier to store, so it collapses down, and then I'll show you that as well. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at those two now. Looking, I'm still vetting both processes, but I wanted to have this talk to see if anybody out there is using one of these stoves, and if so, what version. It doesn't have to be the actual stove, but what version, meaning the solid stove that you carry, that's the solid sheet metal, or the collapsible stove. Which one do you suggest in camping setting, where you're just going out there, even backyard hot tent camping, anywhere where you're just having maybe a teepee style tent that has, you know, the floor covering, because that's also important to me. I think I really want to have that floor covering. And I know you have to purchase a fire resistant mat that the stove should go on. That's also in my cart for Amazon as I'm looking through this process. But what are your thoughts? Do you lean more towards the solid stove or the collapsible stove? Go ahead and get a step 2 here. Step 2, Pepsi Zero Sugar. I don't know what the difference between this and diet is. Not really sure. They do taste different. And just for you, Marcus, cheers, guys. That's good. Totally different taste than a Diet Pepsi, but yet zero everything. So yeah, I've been looking at, I think I narrowed the tent down. I've been looking at reviews, vetting that process. I looked at the mat that the fire stove goes on top of. That's also important in case it does spark. You don't catch your tent on fire, especially if you have a floor covering. And now finally, I'm looking at the actual stove itself. You do have to buy a stove jack. That's where you have it in the top of the tent. I believe the tent I'm looking at comes with the stove jack. It's so that the material around the pipe that sticks out doesn't catch on fire from the heat of that pipe. But the whole adventure itself, the whole process is pretty invigorating, because I really have been wanting to do this. I've been really wanting to do a hot tent camping my whole life. So this would be a really cool thing to do, and I'm looking forward to trying to get this accomplished. And the one last piece of equipment that I really think I need to buy is a better fold-up saw, because with these actual stoves, the wood that goes in them, they have to be a certain length. So a lot of the wood that I have has to be split and cut so that they're not so thick, and they could just go right inside there and you have enough wood to burn. there are some pros and cons to this. Like I said in the last video, a lot of people, their concern is that when you go to sleep at night, the fire burns out and you have to wake up and either stoke the fire by putting more wood into it, or you just wake up cold. And then when you wake up, you start a new fire and then you reheat your tent. So, but either way, I'm still excited for the process and excited to try to do this. So I hope everybody's having a good week. We have picked up a couple new subscribers. So with that, I thank you and welcome to the family. Welcome to the channel. I hope you guys all have a great week. I'm going to keep this a little short. We like to keep it around 10-15 minutes just to connect, just to make sure everyone's having a good week. We have so much to look forward to. The weather's nice. Fall's coming. So I'm also wondering how many people do camp in the fall. I know at least this time of the year, it's at least a little bit easier to get a camping site at the state parks locally here. They're open for, I believe, 1 more month. So the camping sites are a little bit more available than they were in the middle of the summer. It was impossible to find a camping site this year. I wish that New York State was similar to that of other states. Like I watch some YouTubers that are in Michigan and other states where they have camping all year round. And the campsites are based on an honor system where you're going into the campsite, you're paying the camp fee, you're putting the money in, and you just pick your site and you have a camp. So I wish that the state parks around here did the same thing, but nonetheless, I'm looking forward to it. I hope you guys all have a great week. We'll connect again soon, and I'll talk to you later. Take care, guys.